In this video, we're going to be doing the pros and the cons of living in Cambodia.
I guess this video is like suitable for anyone who's thinking of living abroad, specifically Phnom Penh, because that's where we live. We've been living and teaching here in the capital for a few months now, and figured we'd share what we like and don't like about living here, I guess.
Things are pretty inexpensive here in Phnom Penh.
That's like everything, like the food is inexpensive on the streets. Rent is really inexpensive too. If you want to find a place for less than $200 US, that's like very possible here. You're able to find a meal for less than $5, and that would include your drink and everything. Sometimes your meals would be less than $2 even.
There's little carts that come by with like noodles and stuff, and you can get those for like 50 cents to $1. The price of clothing is significantly cheaper, and when people tell you to pack light, if you're coming here for a while, it's very smart to do that because you'll want to leave with all the clothes that you can.
The people here are just absolutely amazing, and in our experience they've been super welcoming to like teach us the language and invite us into their traditions and everything. So it's a really cool place to live if you want to experience different cultures, which I think is one of the main reasons that a lot of people live abroad. Living here is just so easy. Like I don't know how to explain it, but things are just so much easier here. People are a lot more laid back. They're really open about their history and everything. So you can learn a lot here just by talking to people, as long as you're willing to learn.
In our experience, getting a visa was relatively easy coming from Canada. Once we were here, we didn't have jobs lined up, but we were able to find them quite easily, as jobs are pretty easy to come by here.
It's a really good alternative to like Thailand and our neighboring countries. Everyone knows that you can go to Thailand and get a teaching job, and lately it's been like that in Cambodia too. Like they're quite desperate for English teachers at a lot of schools, so if you're a native speaker, it's super easy to get a job. Next thing is that the food is just like really good. Like everywhere you go, the food is just homemade. You see the food here being made from scratch, and it's just, I mean, it's just delicious. I think that's...
Traveling around is also really easy, such as Thailand or Vietnam. You're looking at maybe around $20 for a bus. You want to go to Siem Reap from Phnom Penh, or if you want to go down to Scenicville, maybe around $10. Things are pretty cheap to travel around, and it's also nice to just like get a tuk-tuk and travel an hour into the countryside.
It's really nice here because it's not any more expensive to go to a different city than it is to go to the bar. So being able to travel and have that freedom is super cool.
Cambodia is also a really beautiful country to be in.
We spend so much time watching sunsets on like a roof, or you know, laying in a hammock and looking over the river. We're from Vancouver, which is on the west coast, so this is a very different kind of beauty, but it's just so cool. It's so beautiful watching people just living their everyday lives. The culture and the food is just amazing. There's mountains in some places and no mountains in other places. Like it's just a really versatile, beautiful country.
It's just really laid back, and the people are great.
The weather is good sometimes and not good at other times, depending on what you think good is. The rainy season is very real. Right now it's June, so there will often be massive downpours, and we're caught in the rain, and it is like, it's intense.
So the rain here can kind of be like pro and a con, because it has like a magic to it. It's just like when it rains here, it's kind of fun. You just want to like curl up and not really do much. But as a con, the streets can get flooded, and it can also be difficult to make it from point A to point B. It kind of depends on your outlook. Traffic is one, and it can be pretty noisy depending on where you live. We live in BKK1 on not a main road or anything, but it is a well-traveled road, and there's a bit of construction, which is hard to get away from because it's a developing country. So if you're looking for a place to live or stay, try and stay off of main roads and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of construction, and there's a lot of like, you know, when the carts roll by and stuff, people they're trying to get people's attention on the street, so they'll like honk horns and like be super loud, but that obviously travels into our apartment. Like the construction right now is really loud outside our place. I wonder if you can hear them.
I guarantee you can.
The traffic is insane. Like, it's absolutely insane. If you've been to Southeast Asia at all, you know. If you haven't, then I mean, Nick was in for a shock when he first got here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The way that people drive is all over the place. If you're really used to people obeying like red lights and stuff, that's not really a thing here. Especially driving a moto. Those are things that can be nerve-wracking at first, but I mean, really, it's okay. It's not really a con.
Some faith in your tuk-tuk driver and close your eyes if you have to.
Yeah.
Some of the businesses here in Cambodia can be a little bit disorganized, which can sometimes be a bit of a con.
Yeah, this one's like kind of a weird one to touch on because it depends where you come from. Like when you order food, for example, it might not come like until like 40 minutes after you ordered it or whatever. So like don't go out when you're starving, but it's a touchy one. Obviously Cambodia suffered like a really rough history and a lot of the country is rebuilding still. So just being patient with people, being patient with the systems and being patient with the businesses is something that you definitely, the skill you definitely will have to learn here. Again, like these are so weird. It's so weird saying cons because we love living here.
If you plan on staying for a while and finding a job, it's something that you will get used to, and to just not stress out about it right off the bat. Eventually it will become second nature and it'll become your life, and we love it. So
yeah, we love it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know what's going on and the communication's tough, and sometimes it's not because of the language barrier, it's just because the communication's different. That's all it really is.
Different culture.
Different culture, different thing. I guess in Phnom Penh there's so many things that we've learned that you just kind of like need to know and that aren't really like broadcasted or posted a lot online, and you just kind of have to be here and meet people and learn things through word of mouth and trial and error. For example, like sometimes you'll get into a tuk-tuk and you'll start going somewhere, and then like 10 minutes into your ride they'll look back at you and be like, okay, so which way, left or right? And you're like, I don't know where I am right now. We live here, so now we know routes and we're able to help them out. But definitely at first when we got here, it was like traveling around would at times be stressful because they would rely on us to know where we're going, and we obviously didn't know.
Not all of that is a con. Tuk-tuk drivers are usually rad and very accommodating. That might be a bit of a pro, but tuk-tuk drivers
it's like
are
a
great.
hit or miss thing. The patience, that's something that we've learned here.
Yeah.
Patience. And places to go is a really big thing here too. Like a lot of things, again, aren't really advertised. We go to like an open mic night every Wednesday, and we have to like find that from like a long search on Facebook and like clicking onto all these different links. If you want to have a social life besides like going to temples or just hanging out with like other like drunk tourists, and kind of finding stuff to do is like, you gotta search a little bit. You gotta dig for the good stuff.
Involve yourself in some Facebook groups if you can find them. We found those to be pretty helpful. So safety is another one of those things. There are some bag snatchings. People have had their phone taken in front of us. It is a very real thing. Just be careful, just be smart.
The reason it's a con is because like bag safety and stuff is easy, but sometimes when you're in these situations where you're in a tuk-tuk or you don't know where to go and you want to pull out your map, you're always like keeping an eye on your stuff, which I mean, it's common sense, but at the end of the day, it's not always fun to like be watching your stuff constantly.
It's not that bad, and for the most part, the locals, a lot of them will look out for you and kind of, you know, they'll let you know like, hey, keep your bag away and stuff. Like, not everybody's out to try and rob you.
We'll make a whole video on safety, I think. We'll make a whole video on what it's like actually like and what the safety feels like here. The safety feels like, that doesn't make any sense.
How safe it can be or can't be if you're...
So stay tuned. The next one is like a really big thing, just, I mean, in general about living abroad, not necessarily Cambodia, but living far from home, is that like being homesick is shitty, and a lot of the time, like, you know, you get the FOMO and miss your friends and miss your family, and it's hard sometimes, I'd say. We know that we're here to live this life that we're living, and we really like it, and we're really liking the experiences we're getting and everything, but we do miss home sometimes.
Definitely. Depending on where you're from, the hours can be different between you and your family or you and your friends, you find a way to make it work, and it's good. Just video chat lots.
I love your positive spin on all of our cons. Me too, I like it. You make it easier. You do. This one might not apply to everyone, but I think it actually applies to more people than it's discussed. But sometimes you don't relate to other tourists and expats here. We're tourists when we go to other countries too, so we get it. And I'm not like, oh, we're not tourists, because clearly we're not from here either. Everyone's here for a different reason. So sometimes people are here as an expat to live here for 20 years and open a bar. The truth of the matter is there are a lot of tourists coming through that come here to drink and party, and they crowd the local bars here and stuff, which is cool. Like we like meeting other people, but sometimes it can actually be more lonely because you're meeting so many people, and sometimes it's like, okay, well, I'm not meeting anyone who has the same like ideals as me. To me, actually, that one is like the biggest con. You're used to your life at home, but then when you come here, you choose your life. Choosing the right people to be a part of it, and who you want to speak to here, and what kind of expats and tourists you want to hang out with. It's hard to let people into this life that you've kind of wanted for yourself. It's hard to find people with the same balance.
Mm-hmm. But keep an open mind to everybody.
We have the same balance, I think.
Yeah, of course.
That's good. See, that's important.
If you're traveling as a couple,
if you're traveling as a couple, like, have the same balance. Like, maybe we should make a whole video. Battery always like almost dies right before we're done.
And the camera gets all hot.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever. It's so weird like talking about these cons, because like it actually, I don't know, I can't say it enough, because it just actually feels like I know that the pros outweigh the cons, and they feel silly to talk about. Like, I feel like they are important to recognize, but
they're not. Cons is it seems like such a dirty word for it.
Like, I never miss home enough to want to go back right now.
It all depends on your mindset too.
Yeah.
If you have a shitty outlook on life and you're kind of negative about stuff a lot, then these cons might be a bit more of a big deal for you.
The culture's different, the people are different, the language is different, and if you're wanting to live abroad and you do it based on your own choice, like, the reason usually is because you want to experience something different. It's dependent on who you are, but for us, it's been pretty cool.
You can't describe it. You have to be here to see it and feel it, and just to really get a good grasp on what life's really like here.
If you're watching this and you have any questions about anything specific about Phnom Penh or living in Cambodia or living abroad at all, like, you can just slide into our DMs because they're open. Move to Cambodia. It's great. Sayonara.